lung cancer is still the leading cause of cancer death in both men and women in the U.S. and the leading cause of cancer death in the world. There are more deaths in the U.S. from lung cancer than breast, prostate, colon, pancreas, ovarian combined. So it's a huge, huge problem.
It seemed like for every patient that I operated on, you'd see 5 people come into the clinic with late-stage disease who you knew weren't going to survive, and you just wanted to do more. And now the balance, the give and take between the lab and the clinic is really exciting. I mean, from a biologic standpoint, if you're a researcher and a scientist, you're going to like cancers because they're exciting, and we're at an exciting point in cancer where we're learning a lot about molecular pathways and targets and things like that, and lung cancer's right there. We're learning it. But I think in terms of needing to know that your work is important, it's easy in lung cancer. Your work's really important. There's a lot of lives on the line, and therefore at least I have this feeling that I might be able to make a really big impact.
One of the things that I've done in my career is to try to find these patients that do unexpectedly well or unexpectedly poorly and study them in the lab, get their permission to study their tumor in the lab and see if we can figure out what makes that patient different from the next patient. And that's what led to finding the EGFR mutations. The drugs that target EGFR were developed long before anybody knew about EGFR mutations. And it was just the observation in the clinic that some people did unusually well led people like my lab and others to sequence these and find these mutations. In every study, there's often 1 or 2 people who respond really well. And if it's a 200-patient study and 5 people respond really well, they'll call it a failure. But in fact, for those 5 people, it was a success. And what we need to do is to say, there's something about those patients that make them different. Let's try to figure out what that is so that down the road we'll be able to say up front, you'll benefit from this, and for these 95% of the patients, you won't. Let's try something different.
When I first started, about 10 years ago, working on lung cancer, was not the most interesting field as far as research. We pretty much knew small cell lung cancer, non-small cell lung cancer, had a few drugs to treat them, and that was about it. So it wasn't so intellectually stimulating, but in these past 10 years, that has changed dramatically, and it's been an exciting time to be a part of lung cancer research. So it's fortunate that I ended up on this path.
I think it's always easier for all of us when our goals are aligned. And if we can deliver something to an individual that makes government feel good, makes philanthropy feel good, and makes industry feel successful, we've succeeded.